It's a lovely morning. I am happy to be awake. I'm happy to be alive. I'm grateful for life. I know you're wondering, like, what's up with my hair? Why is my hair not done? Okay, basically, the hairdresser came. She undid the hair, but she did not have enough time to do it, like to twist it up. She had begun at the bottom, but she never was able to finish because she was supposed to be somewhere at 4, exactly at 4, and she got here a bit late. So we just decided she can finish undoing, then we reschedule so that this week on Wednesday she's going to come and twist my hair up. So I am I'm in this half hairstyle where I have twists and I don't have twists. I did not actually want to handle my hair at all. I don't want to have to comb it. I don't want to have to do these things, but I have to now because I have no other option. Okay, so basically, it's one of my close friends' birthday. I wanted to crochet her something, and she's always wanted this specific shrug, and she loves the color burgundy. This is the closest we could get to burgundy. I think this is actually burgundy. Is it maroon or is it burgundy, or are they just the same thing? This is how far I've gone. I'm actually surprised. This has been done by one ball of yarn, and I bought 6. So I think the yarn will be enough. This is the front and now beginning the back panel. I love doing this method where you just join the 2 panels at once. So yeah, this is the progress. I stopped because my yarn was over and because it was 1 a.m. in the night. I also want to come up with a really pretty gift package for her. I already have bought some of the gifts, but I feel like adding some more. I love when there's little tiny bits inside a gift box. So this week I will be looking for some things to add onto that. Lately, I've been living within the sweet intersection of life and art. Hold on, let me explain. It's that quiet, almost invisible space where you begin to see your life as art, not just in the obvious ways, not just in the things traditionally called art, like drawing or painting, but in the quieter ways, in the ways that I move through my days, the way I choose to do things, the way I experience them, even and especially when no one is watching. This realization started when I noticed just how even the smallest and most unconscious actions carry some sort of intention. And the more that I pay attention, the more I realize that these little choices are not random. They're actually reflections that are quietly telling us something about how we see the world and how we want to exist within the world. There are a few things in this world which are more special than birthdays, more special than rain on a really, really cozy day. And one of those things is getting a tea bag when the whole packet ran out, just finding a stray tea bag just waiting for you. The smell from this specific infusion is lovely. Anyways, I wanted to talk a little about how I am learning by paying attention to my everyday life and sort of how I integrate that into my podcast episodes and my growth as a person, because my podcast episodes are kind of an extension of what I'm learning, what I'm constantly discovering and musing about, right? For example, last week, actually, I've just realized I usually say this is my commonplace book, but whenever I want to write in this book, I have to sit down, be organized, rule, everything has to be like organized. But this book, which I just call my randoms book, is the one in which I write anything and everything, literally anything. An idea pops into my head, I will throw it here because I don't really care about this one being aesthetic and pretty on the inside. So, in the real sense, this is my commonplace book because your commonplace book is supposed to be just somewhere you literally throw ideas, thoughts, anything. So, this is actually my commonplace book. This is the informal or unofficial commonplace book, and this is the formal or official commonplace book. So that's our little secret. Anyways, when I was preparing for last week's episode, I wanted to do an episode on art as proof that I was here, because in that week and in weeks that followed that week, previous weeks, I had been thinking a lot about how art is important in life and how my life is enriched because of art. And I'm not just talking about drawing and sketching and all that, even just music, even just something like creating something, creating a meal, creating just anything that involves me creating something, or not even just me creating, but even interacting with art that's not mine, enriches my life a whole lot more than I ever thought it did. And I realized that I want to build my life around art. I want to see art in my daily, to interact with art, and to view my life from an artistic lens. And it struck me just how important art is. And when I thought about the kinds of art that I create, it's majorly videos and podcasts, episodes. Yeah, podcasting and just creating videos, and that is the art that I deal with. And I was thinking specifically about TikTok and creating content on TikTok. I started feeling a bit disconnected from that, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I am not going to create on TikTok again, because you just find that you sometimes you feel a certain way about something, sometimes you don't. And maybe right now I just feel this way for a while, then it will fade away. But I want to craft my content on TikTok to be more artistic than clickbaity. I am still kind of trying to figure out where I am on that. Like, do I want to stop or do I want to create, but in a certain way? Because I don't like the fact that creating on TikTok means contributing to short form content and contributing to people being constantly scrolling. I don't like that. You know, YouTube is different because it's long form and it kind of cultivates people's attention spans. But on TikTok, no, it doesn't. You know, maybe I'm just trying to work through how I want to tailor my content. Do I want it to be showing more of art or more of trying to capture people's attention? You know, is it possible to create a long form content within short form content? And I don't mean like long form in terms of how long the video is, but in terms of the feel you get from the video. Does it cultivate your attention span? Does it inspire you to think? And is it not catered for maximum views? Like, from the first thing I say in the video to everything else, I want it to be more of something that is seeking something deeper than just metrics, you know? So that's what I'm trying to figure out, because this is like one of the steps in me trying to integrate art into my life. I integrate art into my life by writing a lot. You always see me writing. That is one of the ways, because writing is a form of art. I integrate art into my life by playing different musical instruments, that is piano only at the moment, singing, by carrying around a sketch pad. And I want to also make my life more artistic by what I put out, because the way you cater and the way you tailor and create your content should mirror something, and I want it to mirror a certain feeling, to mirror a certain artistic point of view. The other day, as I was walking through town, I decided to disconnect my earphones and stop listening to music and just walk. And as I was walking, I usually feel kind of weird when I'm walking, because especially when I'm not listening to anything, because I feel like people are watching me. And obviously when you look at someone, they're likely to also look at you, so you think everyone is watching you just because everyone glanced at you and you also glanced at them. So I tried this thing where I would literally try to pay attention to strangers and see and deduce things about them just for the fun of it, like an investigator or something. So when I'm walking along the street, I'm watching people, but I'm not just watching their eyes, like glancing at their eyes. I'm literally looking at them and trying to evaluate as much as I can about them before they pass. So I see someone and I look at their shoes, I look at the hats they've worn, I try and tell a deeper story. And it was so interesting because I found myself really enjoying the walk, and I was not listening to music. And normally I enjoy the walk when I have a nice playlist on. Also, yesterday I had my mom do me 2 lines, because I literally, my hair is so painful. I've never experienced such. It's this so painful, I'm surprised. Whenever I have to comb even a little, it's so painful. And maybe it's because my scalp has not been under tension for literally more than 2 months. It's been 9 weeks with the mini twist. So maybe that lack of tension makes even the smallest tension, like combing, feel like a lot, because my head is literally so painful. So I had her just plait 2 lines so that by Wednesday, when I'm supposed to be retwisted, I will not have to comb my hair. Yeah, I love when people take care of my hair and I don't have to take care of it myself. A good example of this is when I make pancakes. I've realized that I've built a whole ritual around this one simple act. No one can make my pancakes for me, not really, because I'm the only one who understands how I want them to be made. I could just stack them on a plate and eat them, but that would not be enough. I take my time, layer them carefully. Yogurt, pancake, yogurt, pancake, yogurt, pancake, and then yogurt. I use a specific plate or a bowl. I add fruit on top. I arrange everything in a way that feels beautiful to me. And this changes the entire experience. It turns something that's ordinary into something intentional, something almost intimate. And I realized it's not really about the pancakes, it's about the feeling behind it. It's about the way I want to experience life, slowly, intentionally, with care. I think in some way we all do this. We're all drawn to certain details, rhythms, and ways of being that may not make sense to someone else, things that feel natural to us, but probably unnecessary to others. We all know I love bananas, and now you know I love carrots. So, you know what? Today we had bananas and carrots. So, I did an infusion of the two. And please don't try this at home. If you're not someone who likes to mix flavors, don't try this at home. Here's how it looks. Here goes. Okay, I'll be honest. I think it tastes better when it's either carrot or banana, because when it's mixed, you kind of can't tell what flavor is inside. A tip for when you're making pancakes: use Atamak flour. Like yesterday, I used Atamak flour, and remember, I had been complaining about not having enough fiber or refugees in my meal. I had good bowel movements because the Atamak has more fiber. It's 12:08 right now, and I want us to get a little bit crafty. Our unique movements through our days, our quirks, the things we're naturally inclined to, the small habits that we don't question, they're not random. They're expressions and reflections of how we feel life, how we understand life, and how we choose to move through life. It's like each of us is quietly creating our own version of life as a piece of art, even without realizing it. Everyone, in their own way, sitting with a paintbrush, painting out their lives as they live them, mixing the browns and the blues to create the undertones of how you like to spend your time. The reds and the yellows blending into orange, the color of your strange and specific habits. The greens, soft and alive, brushed in as the things that inspire you when you wake up each morning. Every stroke an expression of art, every stroke an expression of your life. For me, a lot of that shows up in the way I see things, the way I capture moments. Everything I film, everything I notice through my lens, it feels like art to me. And not because it's perfect, but because it feels something. Because it holds a moment exactly as I experienced it. It's a bit all over the place, which is exactly why I like it. I always find that putting too many things in one place somehow just works. Like just taking a bunch of scrappy things and just throwing them together and then writing a lot of words to distract from the fact that things are not really matching the way you would have wanted them to. It always kind of works, and I'm happy with it. I love that I took these. These are actually one piece. If you were to put them together, they fit nicely together with each other. And this passage I've written is maybe in the end we are all just stories, and just taking that line and expounding it in whichever chaotic way it wanted to go. I think this is why I love scrapping, because it's such a freeing exercise. You just let go of control, let go of trying to make things look perfect, and just make things exist. I've even just remembered this notebook I used to have back in high school, where I used to do now such kinds of scrappy arts inside here, and I looked through it a little before. This one is so pretty, like literally so pretty. I remember we got these papers from a certain book, and I have a dried flower. This was so creative, and this is not even the most pretty page. It's like the more I kept on doing them, the better they became. Look at this one. This one is so nicely color-coded in brown, and I think it had also stains. Yeah, it had stains of something. I don't know what this is, but it's a specific stain. I think it was from a flower, or maybe, I don't know, I don't really remember. And it had so many tiny little details. Look at this Billie Eilish icon. Look at this corner, how it looks so detailed, and it's so tiny. And they're tiny skeletons. Do you see them? There was so much. And then there are flowers at the bottom. This book is just one of my favorites because I kept on getting better at scrapping just by doing random small pieces in like 10 to 20 minutes when I was taking a break from maybe studying, because I did this in Form 4. like my last year of high school. This was the project. Actually not just Form 4, but the last term. Literally when we were preparing for KCSE, this was my project. And looking through it just reminds me of so many things. And it's a lovely book to have till right now. It was also like the perfect size. So I'm happy I've gotten to scrap a little. It's currently 12:50, so we've taken a nice 15 minutes to do this. Okay, I wanted to make dumplings. I have made dumplings once before in my life and they never came out nicely. And I feel like cooking, and I feel like cooking something different from the usual stuff that we have. I've always loved trying different recipes, and so today I'm going to try and nail it, or at least get dumplings which are eatable. Yeah, we're going to make beef dumplings. We have some minced meat and it's currently boiling. I was looking up some recipes and it's supposed to be easy because it's literally just all-purpose flour and water to make the wrapping, adding the beef, closing it up, and then boiling it. Sounds easy. And I know not everyone will see it the same way. Some people will feel it instantly, others might not understand it at all, but I think that's part of it. Art isn't something that has to be explained or agreed on. It doesn't need permission to exist. Sometimes it's just something that feels true to you. And recently I've been trying to lean into that more, to stop questioning the things that feel natural to me, stop minimizing the small details that bring me joy, and instead to build my life around them, to let them take up space, let them matter, to follow them, even when they feel small, even when they don't make sense to anyone else, even when they look unnecessary from the outside. It means allowing yourself to pause when you feel like pausing, to decorate when you feel like decorating, to wander even without a destination, to dance even for just a moment, even if no one understands why. Okay, the dumplings did not work out. The wrappers stuck to each other. I thought I had dusted them as I placed them on each other, but turns out either I didn't use enough unga or I don't know, because they stuck to each other and I ended up improvising, coming up with something that looks like this. This is how it looks. Inside here is where we have the dumpling filling. Let us try it. Here is where the meat is. The rest of the part is just flattened. Let me taste this crunchy part first. A bit. That's actually very good. It's crunchy and soft at the same time. Now let's dip the side with meat. It's there. I love when something I was making goes absolutely wrong but also goes absolutely right, because this was supposed to be a dumpling, but I think it tastes even better than a dumpling, or at least than my dumplings. It's a beautiful morning. I'm having breakfast. Um, Toast, sandwich toast, and a bowl of an omelette with spinach. Is it spinach or kale? Skuma wiki, that one. And avocado. Do you know what? Like this year, we have been so blessed because we randomly get packages of avocado when avocado is not even in season. And these avocados are so good, like literally so delicious. Look at that big and fat piece of avocado. Yes, feel a little jealous. Aside from that, my knitting project has been kind of stalled, and I really want to get back on it because I don't want it to end up being a whip. I don't need to have a whip, an unfinished project just hanging around, and I really wanted to use the scarf. But guess what? The weather is turning around. It's literally so sunny. I don't know. I don't know whether I want it to be sunny, but it's fine. I'll still have to finish my scarf just because I started it and because I really want to have such a striped scarf. This is usually my project bag. It's where I put all my yarn and crochet stuff. So I obviously want to update you on our crochet project. Today is also the day when I'm getting my hair made. It's on Wednesday. And actually, it's my sister who's going to do my hair. I did hers, and now she's going to do mine. We had begun, as you can see, the bottom part is done, but the rest of this has just been hanging in this weird looking matutas, hence the bonnet, okay? Respect the bonnet. And here's a progress on our shrug. The shrug itself was supposed to be a really oversized shrug, but I'm coming to realize so many things about making oversized shrugs because of the last warmer situation I had. Basically, whenever you make an oversized shrug, the back panel is obviously going to be having less things to feel it because your back is flat, obviously. And so this panel at the back will sag, and that's the issue. So I'm wondering whether to undo right now before I even go further and begin the starting panels, or to just finish this arm and then see whether it looks the way it's supposed to look, or whether the baggy saggy bit at the back is too saggy, because then again, this one is meant to be really off the shoulder. So if it's off the shoulder, the bagginess at the back will not really be seen. It'll be part of the baggy look. If it was meant to stay on the shoulders and it was this baggy, then that will be an issue. So I'm thinking I'll just complete this arm today, as my hair will be made. I'm literally going to be seated down the whole day just having my hair made, and then we'll see how it goes. I have three remaining balls of yarn, and I'm surprised at how much I miscalculated because I bought six, and it seems like even with three, I'm almost done. So we'll see. It requires attention too, a kind of presence and a willingness to listen to yourself, to notice what you're feeling without rushing past it, and to trust it. To treat those feelings like a compass, something that can guide you if you let it. Because the more you follow them, the more your life begins to take shape in a way that feels personal, intentional, and alive. And maybe, in the end, nothing around you really changes. The same routines, the same places, the same days, but the way you see them does. You begin to bring that feeling of art into everything that you do, not just when you're creating something, but when you're living. Because living an artistic life doesn't always mean making something physical. It doesn't always mean producing or performing or showing something to the world. Sometimes it just means being in tune with yourself, being aware of what brings you joy, what gives you that quiet kind of excitement, and suddenly everything begins to feel like it holds meaning, like it's part of something you're creating, and you start to realize that this is art. It was a nice first day of the holiday. It was nice. Like I've just chilled.